So, annual financial returns. It is a requirement that every local group with a bank account completes an annual financial return every year. And the due date for this is the end of February, so the 28th of February. If you are using our combined cash book, the AFR is already in the bottom for you along the tabs, and it will total up for you from the figures you've put in your cash book. So you can see here, you've got your income, you've popped that in, you've popped your totals in, your expenditure, you'll have done the same. I'm sure yours will look much busier than this. Your financial report, I have made these numbers up, so it won't balance. But if this is green, then your AFR will be really simple to complete. So the first form on the AFR is the form cover, and it will have your local group name in here. You will confirm that this is the list of bank and cash balances held on behalf of the group. Pop your name, your telephone number in there, your membership number if you know it. If not, don't worry too much. Your email address, and if you are completing it, if you're sending this in by email, please use the email address we have registered for you, and then it won't be necessary for you to sign it, so you don't have to worry about printing it off and scanning it in. So this is just your declaration. Form 1 is then your income for the previous year, and this is all picked up from that income spreadsheet in your cash book. If I go to donations or gifts received locally on here, we go along, it's totaled it up down this column, and at the bottom here we can see that is £100, which matches what we have in here. We'll do the same for the others, and if you have any restricted funds, it will work that out, and it will give you your total income at the bottom. Exactly the same for your outgoings. So any payments that you've put into the expenditure tab will total up in here and pull through for you automatically. So as I said, if your cash book balances, this will all be exactly as it should be. Form 3 is your sort of end of year reconciliation. So it totals it all up for you. You will put your bank name and the details of those accounts in here. And again, this should balance. Mine doesn't because they are made up numbers. But this will say balanced and it will be green. As part of the annual financial return, there are a few other bits to complete. So Form 4A is your asset register. So any equipment that your group holds, if it's worth over, it costs more than £100, you will pop it on here. So this group, for example, has a projector, and they've owned it at the end of, they've sold it at the end of the year for £100, but they do still own a gazebo. It's kept by Claire Burns and it's used for fundraising events. So just make sure you have a list on there. It's really important we do this so that we can inform our insurers and make sure that any equipment worth, more than £100 is insured for you. It also helps to make sure we have a clear record that this equipment is Parkinson's UK equipment and has not been bought as a gift for volunteers or committee members, but that it does belong to the group. Form 4B, this is if you have any other receipts or any other payments in your income and expenditure on your cash book. Itemize it in here. We can work out where it goes, if anywhere, or just highlight it if it doesn't fit anywhere particularly. Transfers to or from other Parkinson's UK groups. So you may have held an event with your neighbouring group. They paid for everything and sort of invoiced you to say the event cost us this much money. You can pay for half. Similarly, you might have done the paying and are getting the money from the other group. And the reason we need to do this is because that is not new money coming into the charity if you receive it from another group. So we need to make sure that we're not double reporting from that group's AFR and from yours, and we can cancel that out. Restricted funds. If you held a balance of any restricted funds at the end of the year, we need to know about it here. It's a legal requirement for us to report on restricted funds, so we have to have the details of those in your AFR. Major donors, trusts and corporates. So if there were any donors that gave you £1,000 during the year, we need to acknowledge them in our annual report and accounts. So it's really important that you pop those details in here. It also helps us to see any patterns so that our major gifts team can follow up on that. So for example, if I don't know, Tesco has given 78 of our groups a significant donation, it gives us the opportunity to perhaps go and reach out to Tesco and say, oh, did you know that loads of your local stores are supporting local groups? Perhaps there's room for sort of a bigger partnership there. Tesco is just an example. It's not something that is happening. And legacies, if you receive anything directly to your group from a solicitor, you need to pop it in here so that we can make sure that all the administration that goes with the legacy is completed. But I would advise you that if you do receive notification of a legacy, you put them straight in touch with central office so that we can make sure that that goes through the proper channels. You will still get that money back, but it just means we can account for it properly. Form 4C. So any grants that you've received in the previous year, make sure you pop those details in. Again, many funders require recognition in our annual report and accounts, and we can just make sure that we address this in the correct way. This will match your cash book. So if you've put it in your cash book, this will all balance out and it won't be red. And then finally, any debtors or creditors. So you might have creditors, for example, you might be taking your group on holiday and you owe them £700 for the hotel and the final installment's due in April. Make sure to pop that on here, same as if you're owed any money. Just means that if anything happens to you as a volunteer and you're not there, we can ensure that any money we're owed is collected and any money we owe is paid. So it's quite straightforward, but if you do need any support with your annual financial return, do get in touch with your local staff contact or Darragh and James in the local group finance team using treasurers@parkinsons.org.uk.